right, we are here for another episode of Uncle Cousin. I'm Brian, and this is my niece Rainey. Hello, Rainey.
Hi.
And it's been a couple weeks. It's been an exciting couple weeks. Lots of stuff has happened. We
Yes.
had Halloween. We had an election. You had, I'm sure, stuff going on with the understudy deal.
Yes, had my first rehearsal yesterday for
Let,
that.
let's let's see. Should we start? Let's start with Halloween because that's probably the earliest of the things.
Yes.
You guys were Powerpuff Girls, if I remember correctly. That's who you were going as.
Yes, so I had four costumes for
Power.
2 days
Okay.
because I'm over the top.
Yeah.
But we had so for our jazz class, our choreographer created a dance to one of the Sarah Sanderson songs or
Oh,
the
from
Sanderson sister
Hocus
songs
Pocus.
from
Yeah.
Hocus Pocus. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was Sarah Sanderson, and then my friend Jeannie was Mary, and my other friend Ella was Winnie. And so we had to dress up on the day of Halloween, and that's when our final
Sure.
performance was for this choreography. And it was so fun, so funny. It was such a good time. We really had a blast doing all of it. So shout out to Josh. Thanks for setting that up for us. And then our at school costume was the Powerpuff Girls.
Okay.
So my friend Naya was Bubbles, and my friend Mariah was Blossom, blonde and redhead respectively. So no wigs needed to be
Sure.
involved. And between the three of us, I have the most buttercup luck personalities. The tough one of the three of us.
Right.
And
Right.
so we ordered like matching athletic dresses and had like ribbons and then like chunky black boots and stuff. So that was super fun. We had combat in that outfit. So we coordinated like a little fight scene between the three of us as like our respective characters.
Really? Like it performed just on a whim, or was there a class that this kind of worked out well for?
Yeah. So well, you'd love Dan. He's our combat instructor,
Oh,
Dan
okay.
Rankin.
So this is the combat
Yeah.
class. Yeah, makes sense. All right.
Yeah. And he basically every day he teaches us like three different moves or
Mhm.
like one new move that's kind of complicated. And
Mhm.
then we can use previous combos that we previously or that we've already learned. Bit redundant there anyways, moving on. Um and we basically like are able to put together a little choreographed fight scene, and then we do the fight scene in front of our classmates at the end of the class, at the end of the
Wow.
hour. So we throw each other around, we do all sorts of flips and stuff. He was teaching us cartwheels. We did like James Bond, like jump through the door and roll moves
Oh,
yesterday.
sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so we did a little Powerpuff Girls scene as if we were fighting
Wow.
our other friend, the only other person in the room that was dressed up, Mimi, who was Toy Chica from the Five Nights at Freddy's
Oh,
franchise.
okay. All right. What so the combat class, I assume it's mats or some sort of like you're on
Yeah,
some sort of padded surface. So every
yeah.
class ends with you guys like practicing the new moves and then incorporating some of the previous ones you learned?
Yeah,
Oh,
so he'll give
wow.
us a new move, and then he'll be like, "Oh, if you do this, you do this, you tell the story."
Hmm.
And then we just have to use the move we learned in class that day in any combination, any order,
Mhm.
to create like some physical storytelling, which is super
Gotcha. So
fun.
it still has to be story based. It can't just be, all right, two people meet, they decide to fight kind of thing. This is like it has to have some sort of
Yeah,
context.
yeah. Sometimes, I mean, he prefers that we don't use words, and it's just that it's like storytelling, as in like you smacked me, and that encouraged me to headbutt you, and then when I headbutt you, you grab me by the hair and like spin me around, and I do some crazy roll. But
Okay.
my favorite thing that he does, if someone has like a really over the top combat combo, he'll be like, "Can I add one thing?" That's what he always says. Can I add
Hmm.
one thing?
Hmm.
It's so funny. And then he'll be like, "Oh, and then when she's down on the ground, I want you to stomp really hard and we'll act like there's a shock wave that's gonna like make her
Okay.
like or whatever." It's very funny.
That's
He
cool.
really he loves comic books.
Hmm.
His costume was Doctor Who, and he
Okay.
knitted like that insanely long scarf.
I was
The
going to
one
ask
that he
which
had
one.
the
So
PA.
the Tom Baker one, the
Yes,
yes,
yeah,
Fourth Doctor, I think. Is
crazy
that right?
long
Yeah.
scarf. So yeah, that was his costume. So it was really fun. And then that night was costume number three because I had booked a tarot reading job. So I was like, and you know me, I mean, I love Halloween. I
Yeah.
love to go out.
Yeah.
However, if I can make some money instead, still going out dressed up with a table between me and everybody else. Ooh, baby.
Totally. Yeah.
Delicious.
So this was a tarot reading at like a party or something? At somebody's Halloween
Yeah,
party?
yeah.
Okay.
Actually, so do you remember Maddie Dico, my friend from like elementary school?
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Wow.
Yeah, one of the four nuts. And the way the two of us realized simultaneously in Brooklyn that night on Halloween that four young women referring them to themselves as the four nuts was like insane.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's like, the implications. And I was like, no, literally. And we both agreed. We're like, they're like, that did not age well. That's okay. I digress. But yeah, they moved to Brooklyn like 10 years ago now.
Okay.
This is their official 10th year, their 10th anniversary with New York.
Hmm.
And they work at a bar called Congress Bar in Brooklyn. So they messaged me like, I don't know, 3 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. And we're like, hey, so we've been advertising that we were going to have a tarot reader. And we had someone that we were in the works of like getting booked and it didn't work out. And so we don't have a tarot reader. So is there any chance you'd be willing to work on Halloween and do like a tarot reading booth for us? I said, hell
Yeah,
yes.
no kidding. Wow.
Absolutely. I would be delighted. So and it was so cute. They have like booths that line the back of the bar and like little seating so people can sit and chat. And they blocked off like two of the tables and kind of put me in the corner. And so then I like surrounded it with like candles. It was all like lit up and cute in the corner. And then I brought some crystals and then different decks and stuff. And I just gave people like a little reading.
So
For like
all that stuff, like what each card represents, or at least.
Oh yeah. I mean,
really?
well,
Okay.
for my decks, I'm not going to say I have a universal knowledge because there's lots of different decks with lots of different meanings.
Okay.
And each artist will give you like, usually each deck comes with like a handbook of like, this is the normal meaning and this is like kind of my interpretation. Or if they have like a completely unique card that doesn't have Rider Waite connections, like it's not based on the Rider Waite deck, which is original tarot, then they'll have their own explanations. So you have to study your own deck, which is important.
Okay.
Know your
deck.
No
idea. I did not know that they weren't just universal. Like the Four of Cups always meant the Four of Cups, or they always meant, you're going to have profit when you grow up or something like that.
Ones like that where it's like based on what the Rider Waite deck is pretty much always going to be the same.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's like where it comes from. That's like the basis for the practice. But there's also decks that are just like, what's the tea? And it'll just be a card that has like a commentary at the top, like, ooh, someone's cheating, or like some crazy like sounds like you're procrastinating or something like that.
Oh,
like
really? So it's like a cross between a tarot deck and a Magic 8-Ball or something, where it's got the
I refer to those as oracle decks because it's more of like a conversation versus like actual tarot, because I feel like tarot is a really specific practice. I'm picking about that, not everybody is. But I think it's important to differentiate them because one has a very like long storied cultural tradition based in like centuries of practice, and then the other one is it's a tool for discernment, so it's like a communication tool between you and your subconscious or the other side, or however you want to perceive that. But is much more specific and doesn't have that cultural connotation that I think is important. So.
Yeah, I mean, I always figure it's like whether you believe in it or not, there's like a thing that gives people a chance to put their guard down, because all right, well, it's a deck of cards that's going to tell me, even if they don't believe it, oh, it's not really going to tell me anything, but they kind of put their guard down, like, and are more open to reveal things outside of the deck that the deck then is by its existence is letting them feel, like they're comfortable in talking about, if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. And sometimes people give me that information, sometimes they don't. And I don't encourage it. I'm like, I don't really want to know like what's going on in your personal life, not to be like, oh, I don't care. But it's I want to be able to just channel whatever it is that you need to hear based on what the cards are telling me without all the connotation of like your personal life.
Right.
You have all those details and you get to fill that in with what you need to work on, whatever is like striking you in the moment.
Because your reading might, they might be thinking, this is this part of my life is what she's going to be talking about. And if they tell you that, then it just kind of boxes it into that. But it's like, oh, I didn't even think about this other problem in my life that I'm having. And that card pretty much nails it kind of thing.
No, that happened. That
Did it
actually
really?
happened.
Okay.
Yes. So one of the women that sat down at my table, she wanted to know about, and she didn't tell me this, so I didn't know
Mhm.
this in the beginning, but
Sure.
she wanted to know about what was going on with her relationship with her sister. Her and her
Hmm.
sister have been kind of on the fritz for a while, I guess.
Okay.
And the entire reading ended up being about her daughter who's been raising hell, which I thought was so funny because it's me, soy yo.
Right.
And and it was like, is your daughter a fire sign? She's like, yeah, she's born at the end of March. And I was like, oh, that's very funny. So was I. And
Mhm.
she's like, well, she's just very wild. It's like, it's not that she does bad things or she's like a problem child, but she lives life so big and she takes so many risks, and it's terrifying to be
Mhm.
around her as a parent because she's like, I don't know how to control this.
Mhm.
And I was like, oh well, that now I understand why these cards are coming up, because like if any reader is going to be able to inform you
Yeah, right.
I'm not going to be able to work with this. So like the cards I pulled for her were pretty much all related to like fire in some capacity, which is why I asked the
Okay.
question, like, is
Of
she a
the
fire?
fire sign. Yeah,
Mhm.
interesting.
And I was like, there's a lot of like, she's very passionate, she's very creative, I assume. She goes, oh my God, off the charts. Like
Mm.
if she's not destroying something, she's making something. And I was like, well, she's probably destroying it to make it. And we're
Mhm.
both being honest.
Mhm.
I was like, I know how that goes. And then she's just wild. Like, she just climbs everything. She's all over the place. She's crazy. And I'm just like, yeah, that sounds very familiar. And so it's like the all the cards were basically saying, like, they all had vines on them to me, which suggests like upwards growth. So I was like,
Mm.
it's not your job to control or manage her. It's not your job to be like, these traits that you have are need to be fixed or broken. I
Sure,
was like,
sure.
whatever I'm seeing here, there's something that you need to give structure to allow it to grow. You need to allow it some type of support so that it can be as wild as it wants to. I'm like, I don't know what this is referring to,
Mm.
but I just think that you're trying to manage something. You want to put it in a box, and you need to realize that the abundance of this thing can really feed into you and teach you how to grow wildly and to allow yourself more freedom and more grace and more space in your life, so you don't have to be necessarily boxed in. And I was like, I don't know what this thing is, but it seems there's a lot of youthful energy here. It's very passionate, very like uplifting. It's like covered in flowers. It's like a beautiful thing, and you see the beauty in it. But I'm sensing some fear. There's a lot of swords here too. And she's like, it's my daughter Amelia. I was like,
Wow.
okay, yeah, well,
That's
there you go.
cool.
So then she told me about then she gives me all the background that I just gave you, and we talked about it, and she was like, well, is there anything I need to know about my relationship with my sister? Because that's what I was kind of hoping to know. And the next card I pulled was the tower, and I was like, well, whatever foundation you guys had is gone, and it's time to
Oh.
rebuild that.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
and she was like, oh yeah, we haven't talked in like an unusually long time, and I was like, sounds about right.
That's cool. Wow. That's pretty amazing. I mean, I'm not
Yeah.
I'm more on the skeptic side of things with that, but the fact that um it's almost like a uh what's the word I'm looking for? Like a prompt kind of thing where you know the tower means foundation, and she interprets that as, yeah, I guess, or you interpret that and she agrees that it's like, yeah, time to rebuild the foundation with you and your sister. That's
Yeah.
that's really cool, and that's a cool skill to have. I mean, that's something you can
Yeah.
use in everything, right? Like
Yeah.
kind of being able to read
Yeah.
people.
And
um
it's I love skeptics. I think you actually should go into anything that's related to like witchcraft or, spirituality as a
mhm.
very skeptical person, because there's a whole lot of nonsense, just absolute garbage that's out
Sure,
there.
sure.
I think from a scientific perspective, why I think tarot is so interesting
Hmm.
is because something that we struggle to do as humans is to connect with our subconscious. We don't have control
Hmm.
over it,
Right,
right?
right.
And tarot makes it very clear where your attention is, whether you're taking in the information from the cards or not.
Hmm.
So it's like if you draw a bunch of cards, and then the first thing that pops up into your head is about like a breakup from a really long time ago,
Hmm.
then speaking from a psychology perspective, there's probably a strong chance that there's something you're not dealing
That
with
you
that's
need to
a repercussion
address.
or consequence that you need to be thinking about and addressing.
Yeah.
And that's where journaling comes in. So I find it can be a really fun, like, mental health tool, because
Hmm.
you can learn a lot about like where you're spending energy you don't need to be, mental focus, emotional focus, whatever. or like the root of other social issues were like, oh, well, I only started acting this way or doing this thing because I went through X, Y, and Z. And I
Mhm.
guess I changed my habits in a way or like started protecting myself to avoid that from happening again. And now it's causing problems in my current relationships.
Right.
So there's a lot of benefit to that. And then you can also think about it like great advice. I mean, really great because they're honest, you know,
Mhm.
and it's like if you're seeing a bunch of negative cards, like I mean, the tower is one of my favorites because I mean, well, it's really controversial. People pull the tower and they think that their life is over. And in a lot of ways, that's exactly what it's saying. But I'm someone who I love that. I love to like knock everything I built down and start over.
Yeah. I mean,
And
that's what New York is basically.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
I'm
was
I'm a pro at this point. If
yeah,
anyone should get like a trophy for like burning their life down and starting over
right.
multiple times, mid project, at the end of a project,
Right.
like right
Right.
after I get started, whatever. I'm here. I've been there, done it. Um, and I think that it's like a really interesting concept because the image is a tower that's crumbling, that's being struck by lightning, and there's
Mm.
someone falling from it.
Okay.
From my deck, that person is wearing a mask and has wings, so that there's like kind of an Icarus reference
Oh,
to for that for
okay.
me.
Hmm.
And the tower is always a reference to the Tower of Babylon. So there's
Okay.
like other stories that people can refer to get
Right.
more
Right. Like
context on it.
this perfect thing is now crumbling or is now
Yeah.
falling apart. Yeah.
Yeah. And people are like, oh my God, my life is over. But it's like every time you have a major upset in your life, every time everything like get Jenga full on, big crash out craziness,
Yeah.
you a learn so much in those moments. Like I think that's when people get the most like character development, is those really tense, really conflict heavy moments. And then you get to start over knowing everything that you know now and just
Mm-hmm.
rebuild.
Mm-hmm.
And that foundation is inherently going to be stronger. The tower that you build is going to be stronger. You may put more reinforcements and more boundaries around it, maybe a moat to keep other people from getting to it. Like certain things, you can now make a whole bunch of new choices, basically reborn as this person that's coming up from the rubble of what you previously built. And it's not to like dismiss the trauma of it because you know if it's I pulled that card right before you know my ex and I broke up. I pulled that card when I was
Mm-hmm.
asking about my job,
Mm-hmm.
da 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 da. But now I live in New York City and I'm chasing my dreams. So that's the point is like the crumbling while it's happening is by far the worst experience, but it inherently means that there is something much better, much more fit for
Sure.
you, much happier
It
coming down
always
the line.
builds up
So,
stronger afterwards. Like you're
exactly.
makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. And sometimes people need to hear that too. And one guy who sat down, he was a total skeptic. He was like, like his wife got a reading, and then he was like, "Oh, yeah, what is it? All rainbows and butterflies over there?" And I was like, "Of course, of course it is. I'm trying to get paid." No, I'm just kidding. The bar paid me, so everybody's reading for free,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
um, and it took the pressure off. Like people were like, "Oh, I have to pay for that." Like it was just like, sit
Right.
down, have a chat with me. If you don't want to do it, you don't have to do it. Whatever. Who cares?
Another
Um,
good way to get their guard down. Another good way to get them not feeling, opening up and being more vulnerable to this.
yes.
How
Yeah.
many readings do you think you did that night?
I did
Oh,
think 18 or 19, I'm pretty
okay.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a pretty steady evening. My original plan was to only spend like 5 minutes with everybody so I could get in like 60, but like
Sure.
that's not at all what happened. I'm a talker.
Yeah, of course. You
And
mentioned though your third costume was related to that, but I don't know. Did you say what your costume was? Was it
oh yeah, I was a fortune
it was
teller.
a fortune teller? Okay, I was wondering if that
Yeah,
was
so
if
I
you
leaned into like a lot of velvets and like kind
sure.
of a Romani type vibe.
Yep.
So
Yep.
very red fair style, as I like to
Perfect.
do,
Yeah.
of course. That was a lot of fun. And then I met so many of Maddie's friends too. So I like got to know a bunch of people from the bar they work
Oh,
at and
cool.
like their partner didn't get to come. I'm pretty sure he was working. But she was like, yeah, like come meet all my friends, come hang out with all these people, blah blah blah. So we like after I was off my shift, they were like, oh, you have free drinks, like you for us tonight, whatever. So it also ended up being a
Perfect.
really
Even better.
fiscally
Yeah.
responsible night. It was nice. So I was like, okay, per. Um,
Nice.
and then the last costume was like it was originally just like a succubus. It was just like a general. It was
Mm.
like from what's that show called? Full Metal Alchemist.
Oh, okay.
From like the last couple of episodes. And then it was like a really loose reference. And then I was like, whatever, like people aren't understanding what that is, and I don't have to keep explaining. So I'd say Lilith, and that required an equal amount of explanation. And then by the end of the night, I was like, yeah, I'm just Bobby Boucher's girlfriend, because I was a devil. So
Oh, gotcha. Oh, funny.
I was like, hopefully the Adam Sandler reference lands at least. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, right. Um,
But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
so how is Halloween in New York? I mean, is it a very, it feels like a very different thing than
It is
Denver
a
or
religious
or
experience. It is
Houston. Yeah.
incredible.
Hmm.
So like on Friday morning, I was like face to face with Napoleon Dynamite for like 6 stops, which was
Okay,
incredible.
on the subway. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like so many people get dressed up so early, like the whole city like is just locked in. And it does
Mm-hmm.
not matter what borough you are in, there is something like incredible and exciting and probably choreographed going on. I got to see both some of the rehearsals for the big like thriller parade that they do, the
Oh,
thriller dance they do every year.
cool. Yeah.
And then I also got to walk by the parade itself because it like came through like Times Square and everything and all that. So we like ran upstairs and got to take a peek and then go back.
That's
So that
cool.
was really cool. And I mean the whole city just loves it. Like they
Hmm.
had these massive like 30-foot Dia de los Muertos
Hmm.
statues
Yeah.
right in Times Square, which was amazing. Like the way that artists take advantage of that time is just it's
That totally
incredible.
is. I think the Latina Halloween look, or I guess it's the days
Yeah.
after Halloween, but it's
Yeah.
just such a cool vibe that is both um fun and heartwarming, but also a little sinister, because of the skulls and things like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
that. I like
It's
that
it's
look.
spooky and wholesome.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
Love that combo.
Totally. Totally.
Yeah, and people get really into it, and it's so fun to see like how many different cultures participate in different ways. Like,
Hmm.
because there's like a lot of Hijabi women here, and they all found really cool ways to like incorporate their scarves and so on for
Oh,
their costumes.
really?
Yeah, so cool.
Cool.
Um, and then there's this whole strip. Oh God, it's not Sugar Hill. Is that it? I don't know. That sounds made up. But
There's a gang. There's a whole Sugar Hill gang. I don't know if it's the right one.
Sugar Hill gang. I mean, maybe they're the ones that handing out the king size candy bars. I don't
Yeah,
know.
maybe.
Big ballin'. But there's like this whole neighborhood of brownstones right off of Central Park,
Hmm.
and they shut down all their streets, and it's like these houses because they are the wealthiest people in New York, and they just have these insane setups. Like there was a whole street where they all committed to doing Jurassic Park, and they had like massive dinosaur statues,
Really? Oh, wow.
huge dinosaur statues. And I think some of them were animatronics, some of the smaller ones. And I'm just like, who do you even hire to like when do these plans go into like who's paying for, I have so many
Right,
questions.
right. Yeah, exactly. Where do these
But
things go storage wise when it's not Halloween?
yeah,
And
did you
yeah,
guys just like rent the set of Jurassic Park? Like I don't understand.
wow.
Um, but so cool. And obviously the kids are just going
Of
nuts for it. Like
course.
they love
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
So
That's
it's really
amazing.
fun. Everybody gets so into it. So it's like one of those things, if you can't afford to come during like Christmas or
Hmm.
Christmas in New York is too cold for you, which is so valid, going for Halloween is I think, strong equal as far as like the kind of fun and unique New York
Hmm.
experience you get. Because people are just so happy they love it. And like all of the souvenir stores kind of get like taken over by like off-brand spirit Halloweens, which is so funny. It's like half of the souvenir store will be souvenirs, the other half turns into like costumes and decorations and stuff like
Right,
that.
right.
Just so chaotic and really fun. And then the college students, of course, get really into it. People are really creative. I saw this one old lady and she just had a bunch of like spices like taped to her shirt and her
Hmm.
pants and stuff.
Hmm.
And I was like, "What's your costume?" And she goes, "I'm a spice girl."
That would have been my guess. Yeah. All right.
I
Good.
was like, "I
Good.
love it. I love it." I was like, "I didn't know she was gonna be like dirty about it because she had like several in her chest areas, like
Oh,
as to be
really?
a spice rack." That was my guess, and then I was like, "I'm not gonna make that guess to a very lovely 70-plus-year-old woman."
Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah.
um,
Probably not. Probably a good idea. Wow.
probably not gonna know, but
That's great. Well, very cool.
um, and then there was some like little kid going around in my neighborhood in like a blow up axolotl costume for the whole week before. Like clearly their parents bought it. and he was
He wants
not
to,
taking it off,
yeah, he wants to
not getting
get
it off
every
him.
moment that he can with that thing.
Absolutely. So I was like, I just look out my window and I just see this little pink like head in the wind, just like bobbing back, and the tail like going behind him. And I saw him at
Uh,
the bus stop. I was like, wow, this kid is into it. I love it. It's very
Excellent.
um yeah, it was good. And then 4 days later we had the election.
Yeah, oh, huge. Oh my
Woo!
gosh.
Huge.
Yeah, that uh glad to see the turnout, glad to see the way things ended up, and I'm assuming among the it feels like the acting community would be a very liberal group, so they've got to be happy there as well.
Yes,
Hmm.
yes.
Hmm.
So we all out of like just general courtesy, like haven't really talked about the
Sure,
election,
sure.
but even more so than being liberal, we're all very young, aside from our professors. Our professors are definitely like liberal people for sure.
Hmm.
And also just obviously like very aware of social circumstances, um, very empathetic people. Like that's what we do for a living, is to
Hmm.
empathize with someone to the point that we can essentially become them on stage and still like
Sure.
provide them dignity and like tell their story. So very empathetic group of people. And the general vibe was like, it's a professional setting, we're not going to talk about politics. But I was in my first class called Actors Instrument with Jackie, who is just incredible.
Hmm.
And she is,
She's the instructor, right? Jackie
yeah,
is okay.
she's an instructor. And I want to
Hmm.
say she's probably in her like early 60s,
Okay.
maybe. I don't know. But she was like, I just want to let you all know it's election day. And if you would like to take this class to go and vote, I'm going to encourage you to do that. I will mark you as present. It will
Hmm.
be an excused absence from my class. If Jean has questions, just let me know. But I want to encourage you guys to go exercise your rights and go ahead and go vote. And I was like, say less. And so I skedaddled.
you
I got out of there.
you missed the second half of her statement because you were already out the door. Like as soon as
Yeah.
she said, "I'll mark you present."
She was like, all right, see you later. And so New York has very specific voting rules. Like you have to vote at the location that is assigned to you
Your
when you register.
precinct or whatever it is.
Yeah,
Okay,
wherever it
gotcha.
is for you. But all public schools are closed and
Mm.
become polling locations.
Oh, sure. Okay.
So there is one 10 blocks from everybody.
Hmm.
Everybody.
Hmm. Hmm.
And so the one that I like, literally mine is like at the end of my block,
Okay.
which I wish I would have looked up and realized. That's okay. I just, I got my little vote NYC tag and I was like, oh, I can go anywhere and vote because this is just like Colorado. And that's not the case. And I did
Nope.
more research. Lesson learned. Um, but I get there and well, I got to a location, and then they're the ones that told me I had to go to a
Mm,
specific one. So I had to
gotcha.
take the train all the way back to my place
Oh, geez.
and go to the public school that is at the end of my street. So I could have just walked down that way, gone and voted,
The
and then had to
shorter, yeah, of
whatever.
course, of course.
Of course. and and then I go and I vote, and everybody was so nice, and they use like paper ballots, like it's all like
Mm.
hand filled out. And then you submit it, and they give you a pen and a piece of candy and your sticker, and you go. And this school happened to be having like um a little bake sale
Oh,
outside to raise money for the school, but they had little like flags and stuff in it, little I voted like sugar toppers, whatever.
yeah, yeah,
So I got
totally.
a bunch of like sweet treats and brought them back to my professor and was like, thank you so much for letting me go vote. And I still made it in time for ballet.
Oh,
So
cool. Which was the class right after?
yeah,
That's
yeah,
cool. So do
that
they
was.
they don't have mail-in voting in New York, or do they?
They do. Yeah,
They
you have
do.
mail-in voting or you can go in person, but you just
Okay.
have to go to very specific locations and they
Sure.
do not use electronic machines anymore.
Oh, really? So it's like the punch a hole through a thing card
Hmm.
kind of deal? Oh, that's awesome. With the
Yeah.
curtain and everything?
Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, Tina, I think man, it's been for us, I think we've done mail in every year except one year when we did go in person and it was the longest line. It snaked all the way through the it was an elementary school that we went through, and it was still an electronic like iPad kind of tablet thing. So we've never done the actual like nothing that could have a hanging chad if
Yeah.
if you remember
Yeah, it
those.
was
Yeah.
nice. It was
Yeah.
a cool experience. And
That's
like
really
the thing
cool.
I thought was so funny about our election too was like the three brands of male New Yorker were clearly represented on stage.
Mhm.
Like Cuomo being like douchey rich finance guy,
Sure.
Mom Donnie being like the culturally rich, very different millennial type finance bro guy,
Yeah.
and
And
then
then Sliwa.
Silwa, who
Yeah.
is just like old school New York, baby. Did I tell you about the time I got shot? Like it's
Right.
just
Right.
perfect. And I loved watching Mom Donnie and Silwa like debate because the two of them would go back and forth and be kind of curious. And
Yeah.
then it was like as soon as the redheaded stepchild Cuomo wanted to chime in, they were like, nobody was asking you.
this
Nobody's asking
this
you.
is between him and me. Yeah. Mind your business.
I'm like convinced that Silwa is just like 100 rats in a trench coat. Like I'm convinced
With a
that's
beret.
who
Yeah.
he is. He's made
Right.
exclusively of like pizza and Yanks gear. Like that's it. I don't know. um, whatever subway debris that they brushed into a human being, but
Right.
he's been hilarious to watch.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then the whole city is just obsessed with Rama, Mom Donnie's wife.
Yeah. Oh really?
Um,
Okay.
she's a Syrian artist. As soon as he like got elected, like normally like the first ladies are always like part of the campaign.
Mhm.
She has been very much like my life is not changing. This
Hmm.
is not going to influence how I live. Like
Really?
I don't
Yeah.
care. And they
Drop
were
in
like, "Are
the
you going
ocean.
to
Yeah.
move?" Yeah, she's like, "Whatever."
Yeah.
Day one, she was like, "Well, this is the art that I made recently." It was like the day after election. That was her first post. Was the art that I've really enjoyed recently. I was
Sure.
like, girl, work. I love it.
Nothing election
Um,
related. That's awesome. Oh, that's
yes,
great.
and then Mom Donnie has just been. He was out campaigning all the time. He was out at
Mm,
clubs. He was like showing up at concerts that were geared towards like his campaign
that's
strategy
cool.
was impeccable.
Super in
And
person, personable.
yeah, and I mean, he was like, he got people to care about him and made it
Hmm.
very clear that he cares about what we're experiencing. And
Hmm.
the two of them have no interest in moving into Gracie Manor. They like, we're gonna keep our apartment in Queens.
Really? Oh
That's
wow.
crazy. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like, that's not. We didn't get into this to have all those things. And I think that that in and of
Hmm.
itself is so refreshing
Yeah,
that
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 speaks
has a
volumes.
big. It has a lot to do with why Cuomo didn't even get support from his own party. Like
Hmm. Hmm.
people are very, very tired of the same old like vote for this party and because you've always voted for this party and your parents
Right.
have always voted for
Right.
this party and this is the party that your family values are built on when the consequences and the response you get once you've elected those people fixes none of your problems
Hmm. Yeah.
across
Yeah.
the board.
Right.
And so I think hopefully we're stepping towards more of a candidate focused election
And not a party
style where
focus.
we're
Yes.
exactly,
Yeah,
which is
I
how George
wholeheartedly
Washington
agree with that.
wanted it to be.
Hmm.
That's how it should be. I just think like parties become such a manipulatable situation.
Hmm.
And when you have just the illusion of two choices instead of the freedom of like this is the type of personality or persona or mindset or vision that suits what our generation as a whole, not like millennials specifically, but like the people who are alive in this country right now, our
Yeah.
generation of this country needs as a unit. And that's what we need to be finding. And I think that's really important. And it's like, it doesn't, the blue and red is so tired. It's so tired. It's like florals for spring, groundbreaking.
Hmm.
It's very much like the same old, same old. And I'm glad that we're really crossing a lot of boundaries with our candidates, and it's getting to the point that we're able to develop this point. And I got to be honest, as like someone who was very young when 9/11 happened,
Hmm.
being able to be in New York when they elect a Muslim mayor is so
It's a
healing.
massive, yeah, that is such a massive step.
I'm huge step in the right direction
Hmm.
and just like really a beautiful opportunity to like see progress as between communities and see such a unifying change
Hmm.
when all we've been experiencing is such divisive language and such divisive politics for so long. And I have this horrible experience of like especially with other young people like I just don't think about politics, it just doesn't affect me. It
Oh
does.
yeah,
if you're if you're trying to
absolutely
go to an
does. Yes.
airport right now, you're going to realize very much how much the government affects every
Yeah,
aspect of your life.
more right now than ever. It's
Yes.
affecting everybody.
And it's like we'd all like to tune out. We would all like to go back to the days when you didn't have to be political, but it's necessary.
Mhm.
And I think it's just an important part of like your education for self too, because politics makes you an inherently more empathetic person. Like because
Sure.
you're like, oh, look at all of these experiences that all these different people are going through. So just being educated and then like do what you want, vote for who you want. I don't care. Like
Mhm.
live your life, be your
Mhm.
thing. But like just make sure you know why you're making those choices and that you are being an active participant in the way that your life plays out. I think that that's really valuable, and I'm glad my generation is coming to that concept and
Realization.
really,
Yeah.
yeah, and really embodying it, like they're owning it. And like I know people have a problem with protests, but I think protests are incredible. I think it's like
They
being able
move the
to get a
needle
group
for
of
sure.
that size
Mhm.
together and
Mhm.
like on a focused topic, that's incredible. I don't know if you guys have ever tried to organize a dinner party for more than 30 people. It's a nightmare. And getting
Right.
thousands to show up for one
Right.
purpose, that's crazy.
Exactly.
So
Yeah. It takes a lot of work and yeah, no, and it's a huge I think it moves the needle. It makes a huge impact because people see this all right, these are all people, whether you're part of it or not, you see it. If you're part of it, you're like, these are all people that feel the same way I do about this topic. And then if you're outside of it, you're like, wow, okay, there's a lot of people very passionate about this. And
yeah. Yeah,
it
and I mean, I think it has a lot to do with why I'm enacting. I think being able to move someone to an emotion and move someone to action as a
mhm,
result of the way that I'm communicating,
yeah,
in my case through my art, but protest I think is very much the same thing. Like somebody was like, I have an idea and I want to communicate it to other people and I want to get a point across on a big scale and you're able to put a lot of people together in that. I don't think that's very different than putting on a play. And
yeah,
I mean, the point is like I just want people to be able to say something. I want them to say something with their whole chest, and I want to be able to say what I say and get people, inspire people to action, to change, to thought. Even I don't expect people to walk out of the theater after every one of my performances with like their life changed.
right.
But if they're still thinking about it, 2 weeks later, and it's like kind of like burred into their brain a little bit, then I've done a good job. And I
Mhm.
think I think we all have that capacity, and the more we use that magic we all have, then I think the world becomes a better place. And then you're reminded how much influence you really do have, no matter how small you are.
Totally.
I've always thought that
Totally.
concept's funny. Obviously, you've never fallen asleep in a room with a mosquito in it.
You've, you've never seen the
Oh,
movie A Bug's Life? Yeah, right.
yeah, right, precisely. And if
Yeah,
all those ants stand up to us, that guy, that was Cuomo. I don't
yeah,
know if you know
right.
that.
He was the
The grasshopper
grasshopper.
guy was played
Is
by
Cuomo?
Cuomo. Yeah.
Sure had the look. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Got perfect segue then into talking about acting and talking about the understudy. So you had your first rehearsal
Yes,
then as
I
understudy?
did. Yes, we did. Full cast rehearsal last night.
Okay.
Um, Absolutely incredible. We read through the entire play, which is what you always do on day one. You
Yep.
want to read through everything, make sure everybody's on the same page, kind of get the general tone. And
Right.
also I started directing class Tuesday. So I've had two directing classes, and then I got to watch my favorite professor who is directing the show
Oh,
do what he does
wow. Cool.
after I've already started learning these kind of concepts and done all
So
this reading about it. And
you're
so
able
it's
to
like
see the
the
things
timing
that
is
he's teaching perfectly, perfect
it,
timing.
it
Nice.
is
Nice.
sensational. So fun to watch everyone work. So I'm an understudy, so I got to like be the first audience essentially. So all the understudies are like we have one room that has like mirrors on one side, big open stage space, a piano, and then like auditorium seating.
Hmm.
And it's the seating from the original theater that they like repurposed as like the
Oh,
best
cool.
seats left. And then they put those in the studio, which is so cool. It's such a great concept.
Yeah.
So it's like the old school auditorium chairs, and we're just watching everybody. And some of them are my classmates, some of them are from the year before.
Hmm.
The chemistry was incredible. Like everyone was playing off each other. People were already reading it and like making jokes, and like it was not a dry read at all.
Okay.
Um,
Good.
there were some moments where we really had to like downshift to be like, that is not the tone for
Mm.
this scene.
Hmm.
We're gonna have to come back to that,
Scale
but
it
we got to
back a
do that
little
at the
bit.
end.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're like, ooh, like that came off really angry, which was like fun. And I see why you think that that's how this is supposed to be read, but actually, this is if you like note these things, and it's Shakespeare, so it's like you can interpret it one way and then reread it and then interpret it at another
Sure.
level and then
Sure.
another level and then another level. A lot of dick jokes.
Yeah.
Big fan.
Yeah.
I
Yeah. No,
don't have any problem.
he exactly. He was able to sneak those things in. Like back in high school, I remember reading We did Hamlet and Romeo and Juliet, and the teacher's like, "Yeah, you know what he's talking about here. It's a little a subtle joke that worked on multiple levels, and
Yeah.
that's cool." So, let's talk about read through first. So, is it kind of what it seems like? You're all around a big table or in a room, and everybody's just kind of reading their lines and still delivering them, but not obviously not standing up and acting them. They're just like, "Oh, forsooth, you have blah blah blah," and stuff
Yeah,
like that. Yeah.
exactly that. And there were, I mean, just everybody was so clever, so
Hmm.
funny. I
Hmm.
mean, I'm constantly taken aback by how incredibly talented everyone I work with is. Like all
Sure.
my professors are so talented, all my classmates are so talented, and like of course, we made it to this
Of
point, right?
course.
But it's
Yeah.
just it's very surreal to see it like play out in real time that way, which is really fun. And uh oh my gosh, just like one of my current classmates, Alec, is just so theatrical, and he's Russian, and so he's born in Russia, raised in Serbia, and then moved to the US. I want to say in his teens. He's lived all over the place.
Hmm.
And he's just like a class, like my favorite way to describe him is a smoking ballerina. Like I just picture him like in a full ballerina outfit and with a cigarette in his mouth, just like dancing in the streets of New
Really?
York. Like that is
Okay.
the
Oh,
best way
that's
to describe
hilarious.
him.
That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
he's sensational. And he just like he gets to play the guy. Oh, is it snout the right word? The one that plays Thisbe in the play within the play.
Okay.
And he's playing his character who's a man and is like this construction worker of some kind is playing a wife and a woman. So he like puts on this really like bad fake woman's voice.
Hmm.
It's just hilarious. And everyone was playing with all of their different like levels. It was just really entertaining to watch. And then to see how enthusiastic Mark Nelson, our professor and
Oh yeah.
director, is
Hmm.
not just about Shakespeare, but also about Midsummer. It's one of his favorite plays. He's loves Shakespeare. He loves Chekhov. Like he is a classical girly to the bitter end. And he's just so passionate and enthusiastic about it. And mind you, those are the two writers, maybe with like a little bit of Shaw and a little bit of Miller, that like actors either love or hate. They're
Mm,
very polarizing.
okay.
And Mark Nelson is deeply passionate about both of them. So his passion is so contagious. He's so enthusiastic. He's so joyful about it. And it's just such a pleasure to like watch him work and be able to inspire a whole room of people. But I mean, they had us understudies and the director's assistant director, as well as the stage manager and assistant stage manager, just like crying, laughing, like
Really? Oh,
first
that's
read.
great.
It was
Wow, from first
so
read.
entertaining.
So, as understudy, do obviously you watch all the rehearsals. Do you get to do any of the? I assume you have to rehearse at some point, just in case you're going
Yes.
to get called up.
So that is the trick to being an understudy and being a good understudy.
Hmm.
You have to do all your own rehearsals. So you
Gotcha.
have to go and watch the rehearsals and
Hmm.
then jot
And
your
then
notes, all the notes
mhm.
that were given to the person that you're playing for, that are tone based, not decision based, because you don't
Sure,
want to repeat whatever actions they're taking. You
of
don't want to play it
course.
the same way. That A won't be genuine, but B, it'll get stale, and you don't want
Hmm.
to try to be that person as the character. You're trying to be
Right.
that character.
Right. Yeah.
But then it's up to you to have the time management skills and so on that you are studying outside, and that way, whenever they're calling you in, you can jump in.
Mm.
The way that they're doing a lot of the rehearsals, because it's a large cast. I think we have like I think it's 27 people between like the full like crew and the
Hmm.
directing team as well as or the creative team and then the cast. So we cannot have everybody in there and be blocking and setting up like
Oh,
choreography
sure.
and fit everyone. It's just not an option.
Yeah.
So they're going scene by scene. And then if you're an understudy for people in that scene, then you're in those rehearsals.
Hmm.
And
Yeah, makes
then
sense.
we do multiple full cast rehearsals, but closer to the end when we're trying to tie everything together.
And probably in a
Um,
much bigger space, a different space for that.
yeah, which
Hmm.
I also really love because it it like you're not then forced to be kind of like stuck with knowing what's going to happen in the following scenes.
Hmm.
So like as an actor, like when you're in that scene as that character, you don't know what comes next. And so I feel like only having the context of the scenes you're in allows the experience to be a bit more genuine on stage when you're watching everything finally play out as a whole,
Totally.
which is really
Do
uh,
you would
mhm.
it work to rehearse with other understudies? Is that a thing they recommend, or do they
Yeah,
suggest against that because you might develop some bad habits or not get enough time on yourself when you're rehearsing with
yeah.
other
I mean,
understudies?
and this is the test is
Hmm.
like, can you guys rehearse together and not get locked into how you want to perform it?
Hmm. Right.
That you're
Right.
being tested for that particular skill, no matter what level you're at, whether you're already booked for the lead or you're understudy. That's just a challenge for an actor because you can make some really great decisions like, oh my God, that was perfect. That hit so well. And then
Mhm.
you try to recreate that later and it doesn't have that same like authenticity from the
Sure.
moment.
Sure. That makes sense. Yeah.
And then it doesn't land the same way and it didn't feel as good. And now you're beating yourself up because it was wrong, which is another trap. So yeah. And for me, my only goal, I like rehearsals. I enjoy rehearsals. I like knowing the different ways that my co-stars are like gonna go ahead and choose like what range they're picking for their characters so I
Hmm.
kind of know what I can play with level wise.
Hmm.
But I really like to just be memorized, have it all in my body, and then just show up like a clean slate, like just forget, like prepare, let go.
Yeah.
And
Right.
that way it's like
It
once
feels
I'm
more
on set,
natural.
I just
Once you're on
react
stage, you're
what they're
that
saying.
character as opposed to,
Yeah.
yeah, makes sense. Wow.
Will
That's
that
cool.
process change and develop? Probably. I'm keeping a journal of it to like see how it develops because there's no other way to like judge your progress. Like nobody's giving us grades. That's not a thing. So,
Hmm.
um, but yeah, and it's a development. And it's just like when you're painting, like there's a lot of techniques that I used when I was younger that I don't use now.
Hmm.
And there's a lot of things I do now that I never would have thought of when I was younger. So it's there's a whole process, a whole artistry and
An
craftsmanship
evolution.
process of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Wow.
evolution, absolutely.
That's cool. So when's the next rehearsal?
Next week on Thursday, I'll be in directing class for the first half, but then I'll be able to join after if requested. But they just send us emails about when we need to be there.
Hmm.
My job right now is just memorize my lines.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure. Sure.
you're fine.
Wow, very cool. Very cool. I can't wait to hear more as this thing goes, like just what the process is, because it's fascinating to me, like the whole understudy thing and what that entails for you. It makes total sense, right? That it's like, all right, yeah, go find your own time to rehearse, but you better rehearse because you've got to be as ready
Yeah,
for that role as the person, the main actor in that role. So wow.
yeah. Did I tell you about Mark Nelson's student Billy who was in Ragtime? Did I tell you that
Oh no,
story yet?
no.
Okay, so Mark Nelson again. Love
Of
Mark
course,
Nelson.
Friday the
Mm,
13th counselor.
They,
Yeah,
he's perfect.
shirtless,
Uh,
teaching people how to hammer a shed in Friday the 13th. Yep.
Yeah, so every time I bring it up, he groans. He hates that role. He's
I'm
like,
sure he does.
oh God. And he's done such incredible work since. Like he's been on obviously multiple Broadway
Of
productions.
course.
Like he name drops like crazy. It's hilarious to me. Um and 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 then the one that we want to latch on to is Friday the
Of
13th. He's
course.
like, God, please no.
Probably a
I
little bit
promise I have better options than
because it
that.
bothers him a little bit too. It doesn't hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it really cements the appreciation for it in there for sure.
Right. Right.
But but he had a student 3 years ago named Billy who him and Mark got really close while they were there, and Mark was like a really strong mentor for him, and they stayed in contact after he graduated,
Mhm.
and he kept trying to take the next step in his career. So like he was auditioning, nothing was happening. So he's like, okay, maybe I need more education. Obviously he's done circle and squares. He was like, let me go more of the classic route and
Mhm.
go to like NYU, Tisch, um, what's it called? Juilliard, like
Mhm.
any of those major
Sure. Wow.
creative schools, performing arts schools, right? And he applied and he got denied. And so then he applied again the next semester and he got rejected. And then again the next semester and he got rejected. And then finally got to the point where he was still applying, but he could only apply for one at a time. He couldn't afford
Mm.
even to keep submitting the applications and he got denied continuously. So he calls Mark and he's just like, I don't know what to do. Like, I'm like starting to wonder, like, is this for me? Like, should I be giving up? Like, am I really bad at this? Like, I don't really understand what's going on. And Mark was like, just hang in there a little bit longer. So then he auditions for Ragtime.
Okay.
and he books an understudy. And Mark is like, well, hey, that
It's
counts. You know, you're
something. Yeah.
showing up, you're making an impression, you're
It's a start.
networking.
Yep.
It's a start, you
Hmm.
know. And he's like, now it's your job to get ready and stay ready. So if they need you at any point, that you show up and you do an excellent job, and then that is your door opening.
Hmm.
Like that is the very narrow slot we're aiming for right now.
Exactly. Right. You don't
It's
want
like that.
something bad to happen to the actor, but you're ready if in case something does.
Right, right.
Yes. Yes.
And then it's your window. It's your
Right.
shot.
Right.
You need to be ready to take it. Thanks, Eminem. And so he's an understudy. They go through months and months of rehearsal, and it's been exclusively cast rehearsals. And they were
Okay.
like, after we get past the first, like the opening date,
Hmm.
then we'll start doing understudy rehearsals to get you guys in the
Mm.
swing of being caught up to where the main cast is right now,
Sure.
which is how it's done at a professional level. That's not what we're doing for Circle, but that's because
Yeah.
it's not that deep. So versus a Broadway production, right? So
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
one of the most famous plays or musicals of all time. And so they're like, we'll start the understudy rehearsals after. But Billy, because of Mark Nelson, was like, you know what? I'm just going to memorize everything. I'm going to go to the dance rehearsals and just watch. I'm going to make sure that I'm like practicing the choreography. I'm going to learn everything I can learn. Well, 3 days before opening night, they changed the entire set. So now the
Okay.
like none of the cast is like has that much time. Has
Oh
they have 72
God.
hours to practice with an entirely new set
Yeah.
and new block, which is crazy.
That is crazy. Jeez.
Crazy shit.
Yeah.
And it's opening night. Billy's on the way. He's on the train,
Hmm.
and he gets a text. Hey, the lead is sick. He's not going to be able to make it tonight.
On opening night.
We've had no we've had no rehearsals with understudies. Can you be here? Are you ready?
Oh my
And
God.
he was like, yeah, yeah, I am. And he shows up on a set he never worked on, but
Hmm.
luckily for him, because of the situation and the way they did the scheduling, he knew he was never going to have any time with the set anyway.
Right. Right.
So he was like, I just have to deliver the performance and know my marks, and that's all I can do. So
Jeez.
he shows up. He's an hour before curtain time. They do a rapid dress rehearsal,
Uh-huh.
and he jumped in and delivered a flawless performance. And guess who bought the last ticket for the last seat in the mezzanine, the front row of the mezzanine for
Mark
that
Nelson.
night's show?
Uh-huh.
Mark Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, we love when that
That's
happens.
amazing. Wow.
Yeah.
Opening night lead role. Jeez,
Crazy.
what that is the shot. And so
And he delivered a flawless performance. He got a standing ovation of the cast. They made him come back and do multiple curtain calls. Like they like everyone lost their mind when he got on stage after that
that's
show was finished.
cool.
They thought it was going to be a disaster, and
Yeah,
he
yeah.
pulled it off.
Nice.
It was
So
incredible.
tell me the happy ending to this story is he's gotten a ton of work since, right? I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I mean, he's still on Ragtime,
Oh,
so
it's still
he's going
going.
to
Oh,
keep
this is
working.
that recent. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wow.
This happened a month ago, not even.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Holy
yeah. It's
cow.
fresh.
Didn't realize that
Yeah.
recent. That's amazing. Okay, great.
So
Jeez.
it's crazy. It's
Oh
crazy.
yeah.
Huge opportunity for him. We're very proud. Mark was so like he was just beaming, telling us how he has these
Oh, I'm
little like
sure.
cheeks. He's so cute. And he's just like beaming the whole time telling it. And he was like, and I just want to tell you guys that story so that you understand like being booked as an understudy is a huge responsibility. That
Hmm.
is not
Hmm.
you're not being dismissed. That's not a bad thing. Like
Yeah.
you are the backup person. If their lead is not available, that is an incredibly important role to play.
Hmm.
And you need to be ready when those opportunities strike because that may be your door opening. And if you're not ready when it does, the moment that it does, it's going to pass you and you have no idea when the next one
Hmm.
comes.
Hmm.
So it was a really great like learning moment, I think, for all of us. And like then to, I think the midsummer rehearsals were the week that happened, or auditions were the week that
Okay.
happened. I think we got cast the next week, and I was like, once I got my understudy thing on the cover email, and I was like, oh, what a coinky dink.
Yeah, right, right.
It's crazy how
Wow.
that timing worked out.
Perfect
So
timing. Oh my God.
yeah,
That's
really
great.
cool. We love when that works. My landlady calls those God spoke moments. And it's where just like undeniable that like everything lined up in a really particular, very
Hmm.
blessed, very like
Hmm.
lucky way.
Fate,
And
destiny, whatever, how, whatever.
right.
Yeah, that's,
Yeah.
yeah, very cool.
Crusty, crusty, crusty. So fun. But yeah, it's been a really eventful several weeks. And New York has been just electric with energy since then.
Mhm.
Everybody loves this time of year. And
Mhm.
they're already putting up the Christmas decorations in Times Square. So
That's cool. Yeah, Christmas in New York. That's the first time we went out there was Christmas time, and so we saw the rink in front of Rockefeller Center and the
mhm.
decorations up and all that sort of thing. So that's a memory that I have that I can't wait to hear how your first Christmas in New York goes because I think it's going to be something really really cool.
Yes, they've opened the Bryant Park rink.
Okay,
And then I think the Rockefeller rink will be opening, if it's not already open, probably here in the next week or so.
nice,
So
cool.
very excited. I'm
Well,
excited to go do both of those things.
yeah, we're gonna hear all about that. Now, before we go, we did get a listener question. Taxi Cab wrote
Oh
in.
my gosh, our first listener
I
question.
know, I know. Isn't this
I'm so
great?
excited.
Thank you, Taxi Cab. Was the most appropriate name for a question about New York. Says, hey Brian, this is my question for Rae on your next podcast with her. Has she hit up some of the great food areas in New York City yet? Like, and he's got a list here. So I'll stop after each one, and you can let me know if you've had a chance to check it out. So K-Town, Koreatown, Curry Hill, Lexington Avenue in the 20s between 25th and 30th Streets. Anything in K-Town
I
yet?
have not been to Curry Hill yet, but I
Okay.
have been to K-Town, and
Okay.
the Korean fusion there is exceptional.
Mm,
I am an avid consumer of kimchi. I
mm,
love kimchi.
hmm.
So yes, definitely. And it
Nice.
is incredible. There's some really great spots down there
All
for
right,
sure.
cool. Restaurant Row, West 40th Street. I'm sorry, West 46th Street between 8th and 9th Avenues, Hell's Kitchen area.
So that is not super far off from where the school is.
Oh,
And I have gotten, I think, a chicken parm over there for sure.
hmm. Oh,
But
you
I
talked
have
about
not
that
explored
place.
all of them
Yeah.
on Restaurant Row yet. No, but
Okay.
I will continue to explore. The big one that's kind of in that area is Juniors, and I tried that when my dad and Barb were here.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about the food stuff when George and Barb were there. The Hungarian place, the
Budapest Cafe. Oh, I should go
yes.
there today. Yes, it was so
Oh, I was
good.
so jealous.
Oh,
They're telling me about the chique paprikash and palagginta, and it's like, oh my
mhm.
god, that sounds so amazing.
Yeah, and it
Um,
was they even like made the apricot jelly so hot that it was like melting out of the
really out of the
palatine. It was
sides,
just like
yeah.
grandmama. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's the best. Let's see, the Lower East Side, Little Italy.
I haven't been to Little Italy yet, and I'm
Okay,
very bummed. I need to get out
okay.
there. I love some pasta, cheese. Um,
Sure.
you can get pizza everywhere, but
Yeah,
like I love a good chicken parm. I love a good chicken
sure, sure.
I have an addiction. So yeah, I need to get out there for sure and test it out. And also, like, maybe join the mafia. I think I make a great mafia wife, to be honest. I think
So you're gonna go
I
to the
got a lot of
place where
potential in
you
that part.
take the gun, leave the cannoli. No, take the cannoli, leave the gun. I can't remember what it is, but you,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, I'm gonna take both.
yeah,
You
the
never
gun
know
and
what's
the
gonna happen on
cannoli.
the
Right,
street.
right. Be
Yeah,
prepared.
yeah.
Let's see, Mulberry Street, Soho, Nolita area.
No, I have not been to Soho yet, but I think
Okay,
I am going to that area tonight. Yeah.
Soho. That's a place that I can't wait to hear about your experience in Soho. The only experience I have in Soho is a movie called, oh shoot, it stars Griffin Dunn. Um, it's directed by Scorsese, and it's called, shoot, I gotta look it up. Um, it
That's
feels
fair.
like it feels like if this is what Soho is, why am I forgetting? It's one of my favorite movies too. It is called After Hours, and the
Oh,
whole thing takes
yes.
place in Soho, and gives it such a bizarre vibe between, you know, two Cheech and Chong as a couple of burglars who are breaking into people's houses, a woman who creates these statues that might be people actually wrapped in newspaper, uh, things
Oh,
like that.
wow.
Yeah, so I want to hear all about Soho because I'm sure it's just
Yeah.
as cool as that. Let's see, Chinatown, of course, centered around Canal Street and Mott
Oh,
Street.
absolutely. That
Yeah,
was like month one.
I
I
was
was
gonna
like, I'm
say, I
gonna
would
make
think
some
you'd
Chinese
start
food.
with
Yeah, right off the
Chinatown.
bat.
Yeah.
Mhm. Mhm.
Very cool.
Yeah. Love Asian food. Big fan.
I'm
Big fan. Big
sure.
supporter.
I'll give you.
Soup dumplings out here, bussin'.
Oh, I'll
Oh
bet.
man.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And it's like hot chili oil season. So everybody's like putting out like seasonal menus of like hot chili oil dumplings. So
Nice. Nice. I imagine.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I was
There's
so mad
probably.
the other day. I got them and I was like, I want the hot chili oil dumplings. And I was like, can you also make them spicy? And the guy gave me a look. And then I got them. And they were like kind of like medium spicy. And I was like,
Oh,
bro, I was trying to like ruin my life.
yeah.
You
I
know what I
wanted.
mean? I wanted to be like mad I made this choice
I
tomorrow.
wanted.
That's what I
Right.
was hoping for.
I
And he
wanted.
was like, white girl in the back says she wants spicy, give her mild, give her
Right.
mine, which is valid. I mean, he's not wrong. Like I
Right.
understand.
Right.
I know how we are. I
There's
see it. I hear
there's
it.
Thai
But
places in Denver that when if you ask for it spicy, they'll say U.S. spicy or Thai spicy, and it's like, oh yeah, I want it U.S. spicy,
I
not
want,
Thai
yeah.
spicy, because that's gonna.
I wanted Thai spicy. I wanted to hurt. I wanted to hurt a little bit. I want to cry. I want to be thinking about this for a couple of days.
You
That's what I
wanted
was
to
going.
see the inside of your sinuses.
Yes.
Yeah.
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 I was, it is cold and flu season in New York. The subways are not cleaned regularly.
Sure.
Like I'm taking matters into my own
Oh
hands.
my
And
God.
that was
Yeah.
my method is hot chili oil.
Yeah. I mean, that's gonna kill. That'll kill anything that.
Anything.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
I'll copy and I'll basically send you this message so you can have a list of things to check out, and then as you do
Oh,
get a
yes,
chance
please.
to check them out, we can talk about them on future shows.
That
Cool.
would be great.
Well, awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, this was look at that, exactly an hour. So perfect. Well, Rae,
Time
thank you
management,
so
baby.
much for giving up part of your Saturday.
Yeah. Thanks for chatting with me as always. And thank you to all
Absolutely.
of our listeners for joining us. Thank you for the
Absolutely.
first question. Keep them coming. I love
Yes,
that. That
more
was fun.
questions, please, people. Keep them coming, and of course, get them over to me. You can direct message me. I know I need to get the website up. I'll do that this week. But direct message me in Discord. I'm Coverville there, or direct message me in Threads, Blue Sky. I'm Coverville everywhere, so it's not hard to get a hold of me. Or post them in the chat of this, or the is it called the chat on YouTube? The chat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why
Post
not?
them in the chat.
The
The
comment section, but I think
comments.
we all
The
call it the
comments. Thank
chat
you.
regardless.
Yes. Yeah. See, there's
We refer to each other as school as chat. Like anytime somebody comes in and they're like, "Hey guys, like I just got this text from my partner. Hey chat, we chat real quick. Can we chat about this?"
right. Right.
All the time.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Rae, and we'll talk to you next weekend.
Yes. Love you guys. Bye.
Bye.